Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Divine Independence. Today, coming to you with sustainability as a result of some shifts in city code. So, I know there's a lot of folks out here that just don't have a whole lot of money. And there are a few folks without a job. Honestly, that perplexes me. I have not found a place yet that's not hiring. Literally everywhere. Now hiring signs just scattered about. What are people doing? I don't get it. If you need a job, there are ample opportunities for you. And anytime someone starts complaining, you know what? The meat market, Divine Meat Company's hiring, Dairy Queen's hiring, the Parker's was hiring, Food King's hiring. I mean, everywhere I go, there is a now hiring sign. Sonny's Italian restaurant is hiring. It is just a couple of small businesses in this little town. 5,000 people, I guarantee there's a job for you. And Sonny's really needs the help. Nicest teenage kids in there, but they don't have a clue what they're doing. Those kids can't even figure out how to pick up the phone half the time, so please help them. Anyway, getting back to the sustainability here. Well, let's start with your own business. So, a couple of keys to just being the top 10%. You start a business. One, return phone calls, text messages, anything. Some form of communication. I have tried to get services so many times out here. I cannot get them. Nobody will return a phone call. Talking from car detailing to construction, and I got some contractors. Some will show up, some do spectacular work. They're always too busy, but they at least communicate. Hey, can't fit you in right here, or hey, that's all I want is some communication. Try and get a truckload of shale dropped off my driveway. I've called how many times I've given up, just can't get it. Trying to get a well drilled, and I understand, super backed up. Do you have a calendar? Do you have anything that manages this sort of thing? It perplexes me. They just stop calling back. That's a good way to destroy your business. You know, I oftentimes think here, maybe I need to start some of these businesses because just with some basic management, they could thrive. Downside, you can't find anybody to work because literally nobody wants to work. Don't know how they're paying their bills, but they refuse to work. Again, totally perplexed. Number 2, show up when you promised you would show up. If you say you'll be here Monday, I expect to see you here Monday. And implied in that expectation is you'll be here Monday morning. If you're going to be here at any time after 9 o'clock, I expect, as a customer, say, I'm going to be there Monday, but maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the evening, not really sure. And it assumes I don't need to interact with you, but just in general, I still expect professionalism, which is show up during normal working hours. Show up at my house 5 o'clock, don't leave till 7 or 8. Well, that's not doing a lot for me. I wish you get the crap out because I want to, start locking up the house, getting the kids to bed. Charge the agreed amount. I haven't found anyone yet that is tacking on extra charge. That's a common thing in a lot of practice or services. So don't do that. So return phone calls, show up when you promised, and then charge the amount you said you would charge. Do all that, you will be the top 10%. And you want to know how to be sustainable long term? Run your own business. That's it. No one's going to fire you from your own business. The only person who can fire you is you for not meeting those minimum requirements. Now, some other things to think about here. Regardless of the quality of your work, you'll be in the top 10% by doing those things. But if you really want to be in the top, we're talking the top 2 or 3 folks, you need to do good work. And this brings me back to End Zone Heating and Cooling. They're out of San Antonio, so big city. They did the sloppiest work ever, but they answered my phone calls. They respond to emails very quickly. They show up when they promise, and they charge me exactly how much they said they're going to charge me. They don't listen well, and they do sloppy work though. In fact, I'm pretty sure their work wasn't to code. I mean, they pulled their permits, they had the inspection stuff done, but no, it wasn't. Sloppy work. Not pleased with it. And they charged, I'd say it was mid-range. Definitely wasn't the cheapest. It was a little bit lower than the most expensive, but man, it doesn't make sense. So inefficient. There's just hose running back and forth all over the place in the attic. Why? You're warming up my air before it comes out the vent. Stuff like that doesn't make sense. But hey, they got out here, and so for that, All right, guys, please finish the job. Some things to think about though. To be one of the best, you need to be clean. So don't leave your workspace messy. Just if you're delivering a product, don't give a dirty product. Don't let the area you're selling your product on be messy. And so I think the farmer's market in that respect, most people out there keep a really clean area. Some folks, you might want to wipe this down a little bit ahead of time. Make sure you're giving top quality work as well. Some stuff, like we'll go back to farmer's market. There's some folks that really cute signs, but they really don't hold up. It's super glued on. You couldn't get a screw or a nail. I don't understand. It's not that difficult, but you couldn't quite get that far. Really weird. If you want to be on top, then you need to deliver quality. And that doesn't mean going out of your way to do anything crazy. It just means doing your best job first. Doing something you know is going to hold up. That way your name's not attached to something that you can't get a good recommendation from. And so that doesn't mean necessarily you're going around and that doesn't mean anything bashing. Just whenever someone says, hey, I need someone to build me a sign, I want a nice front yard sign, they say, oh, go to this vendor, instead of, don't know where you can find a good sign because the one I got fell apart in the front yard. So frustrating stuff like that. That's me as a consumer. I'm not going on trash talking to folks, but it's like, I would love to have that, but I don't know where to get it. You might just want to build it yourself. And that's where I've gotten with a lot of things. Like I had some folks come out and do blown insulation for me because I just needed it done, did not have the time. And that's usually what I'm doing is paying other people because I need their time. I don't have the time. I have enough money to pay for their time. And so I'm buying the service with the time, but what do? They miss half the attic. Everywhere that was difficult to get, they just didn't cover. So the entire kitchen, because there's too much AC tubing, HVAC tubing up there, they just didn't do it. Didn't do half the crawl space, didn't do any of the eaves. Why did I pay you $2,000 again? Just garbage quality work. And honestly, I think it's just boils down to most of the time, they don't actually expect anyone to go check it. And a lot of those things, like the HVAC guys didn't expect me to check it. Like, oh, okay, you don't have it's not a certification here in Texas, it's licensing. So now you're a licensed plumber, you're a licensed electrician, you're a licensed whatever. Now no one can compete with you, so you can do crap work, and what are they gonna do? Pay someone else? Yeah, that's a hard stop because you've already paid them. So yeah, I don't know, it's just stuff like that. So if you wanna be on the top of the top, if you actually wanna get those recommendations, you wanna have a sustainable business for yourself, return phone calls, show up when you promised, charge the agreed amount, be clean, don't leave a big mess. And then don't do sloppy work. Don't leave all materials laying around. Don't leave a messy work site. Do work you're proud of. That's it. Start your own business. Now, if you have no idea what kind of business to start, there's a lot of ideas out there, but I get it. It's analysis paralysis, so much different stuff. You don't even know where to go. What are you interested in? I don't know what I'm interested in. Maybe you're interested in playing video games. Yeah, not sustainable for you. Maybe you're interested in watching Netflix. I'm not sure you're gonna be making a business out of that. But hey, maybe you're into the backyard thing. I'm very much into the backyard thing. So maybe you want to raise some chickens. Backyard chickens, great idea. Downside, they make a lot of noise. They crap a lot. Whole lot of drawbacks. They're also just so noisy. Did I mention they're noisy? They're really noisy. Something you can look into though, ducks. Muscovy ducks specifically. You get any other duck, they're the loudest thing in the world. Just always having a big duck party, making tons of noise. But Muscovy ducks are excellent. All they do is this weird little hiss thing, no quacking at all. They make an absolutely delicious meat. We're talking a dark red meat, all the normal duck fat. And they still lay eggs. I mean, they're not chickens, they're not magicians, they're not pooping out an egg a day, but they still lay eggs. They're very, very good mothers. And so you breed a few of them, they'll sit in that nest and they will brood the crap out of those eggs until you get baby ducklings. And that's a self-replicating process. They just keep making more. And whether you're getting into chickens or ducks, and I know City of Divine, you're not allowed to have a rooster because somehow San Antonio is less restrictive than the tiny little town of Divine, but here we are. Let's face it, most of the regulations around here are strictly punitive to be targeted at individuals rather than the broad city, but here we are. And I'm pretty sure that latest regulation was pointed at Kevin Stevens up near the golf course because he had a rooster and some of his neighbors hated his guts. So they said, let's get this new regulation tax so we can go after him. Because there are tons of roosters around Divine. No one cares. They just want to go after him. In my opinion, I don't have all the details there. There might be more to it, but that's from what I understand. That's probably how it happened. But that's silly. So if you want to avoid that, if you have some Karens and Kens next door, go for Muscovy ducks. Stellar option. And another reason here, beyond just the eggs, think of the meat. And because that's such a good meat, those birds, you can sell them for $30, $35 each live. So you don't need to slaughter anything. Just sell them live. Lots of people will slaughter them themselves. It's really big in Southeast Asian communities, and really anybody just likes some good roast duck. So that's an option for you. Something to kind of dip your toe in the water, see if you like it. And if you decide you want to get more into this poultry thing, Steve and Sandy Smith with Smith Pastures. I forget their URL. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, they're getting into chicken processing, and you can do up to 10,000 birds per year per farm without dealing with all the USDA regulations. So right there, just one idea for you, but kind of getting that creative juice going and how you can make more money, build that sustainable business into your life, build a sustainable lifestyle. You start growing some fruit and nut trees. Not a whole lot of fruit you can grow here in South Texas, but there is some. You just go give a quick Google, give up to the Texas A&M site, and you find those sorts of things. So that's all I got for today, folks. So I just want to kind of rattle some ideas off to you here. There's not a ton happening between council meetings. I'll be all over it once we get that back. But this next month, I'm here looking to put something on the agenda. If you have anything in particular you're looking at an ordinance that you'd like me to address, please let me know now, like right away, so I can make sure that gets on the agenda and we can start pushing that. But with that, folks, that's all I got for this week. Check me out on Float. That's float.app. Josh R. You can find me on Nextdoor. With that, folks, take it easy.